Back, your representative, please. All right, let's listen.
My name is Guy. I am from San Francisco, and I have to say I have a very dynamic group because they're all over the country. So let's talk about So this one is like some of the people they're afraid to provide information when they are a public assistant because they're afraid that the more they provide, the government will go after them and cut their assistance. So this is one of the fear that they have. And then the other thing is like I think since we're dealing with a lot of like Asian Pacific Islander and we have our own culture, but sometimes we just tend not to feel comfortable to disclose information. It's not that we don't trust, but we don't know, what's going on. I mean, we kind of like, I don't want to share so much with you because like, I don't know what you're going to do, with those information. And at the same time is like, we also kind of like, have a sense of like, kind of like, usually open doors to strangers, kind of like, if someone rings the doorbell, we know that, there's someone that we don't know, we tend to open the door. So we think that it will be a challenge, to collect information from those families or individuals. And then we talk about, actually, this group, we have a very good river control, so we don't have river control. In fact, we talk about like, what's the challenges, that we all kind of like experience, like for example, homelessness, how are you going to count them? And then I find out that, homeless not only like, a special thing in San Francisco, it happened in Alaska. So they're saying that it's really interesting to find out how, different states to deal with their homeless, issue. And the other thing is like, for example, we're so fortunate that half of the group, they are from Alaska. So we kind of like, we share a lot of information about that particular state. It's the problem is like, over there's a lot of seasonal workers. So they come, they come to college to count them, it's a method that we can do it. And at the same time is the geographical barrier, because like many of the families are living in an isolated area. But thanks that we have a project specialist, she kind of like addressed the issue, saying, since it's a heavily stimulated to go to that, isolated, area to do the whole census. So this is what we have for this table. Oh, and also is the refugees that's, sponsored by organizations. Sometimes they tend not to kind of disclose any information for their own safety issue.
Thank you, Janet. So Alaska actually has started ahead of us. It's the first state, right? Yeah. That has begun enumeration. Yeah. And anything in particular about the process, any rumors that you've heard since the beginning, since the census has begun first in Alaska?
No rumors.
Because you're all so good at that. Because you all are trusted voices, right? So you're going to make sure that doesn't happen. I also want to address some of the things that Kit mentioned from this group, and that is folks who are receiving public assistance, they're afraid. Because sometimes, and the reality is that they know that if there's someone in the home that's not supposed to be there, they're on Section 8, that person may disqualify them. So how do you counter that? What do you tell them, everybody? Title? Does that help? Does that help alleviate the fear? No, not if they just know, oh yeah, Title 13, they hear from Val Wynn. What? Who's that? Why would we listen to him? He works for the government, doesn't he? Right? So, we must find the right trusted voices. We don't want to try to become the trusted voice, right? We find the trusted voice that we already know, and they don't have to say Title 13. They can just say that your information is completely private. It's confidential. It's not released until 72 years afterwards. Right? Right? Okay, and the other thing you can say is, well, that if we want to alleviate homelessness, if we want to provide affordable housing, there's federal funding for that. In things like what Alex mentioned earlier on the panel, community development block grants. And that's determined by federal funding, right? And that federal funding is determined by the census. So our community has this one chance this year to get that right. And if you want to avoid having a stranger come to your home from the US Census Bureau, that is, because we can't prevent other people from coming to your home, then please respond online. And if you need help, come into my office, right? Because you all have community centers or churches, and you're having events for mobile QAs, for QACs and QAKs, invite them so that they feel more comfortable. Because when you have a trusted messenger, the trusted voice delivering that, especially if it's a mom or a pastor or a teacher or a principal, then we know that they're the most trusted in our community. Right? All right, let's hear from this table.
Hello everyone, my name is Israel, and since I took notes, I will be recording. So I think the dominant theme that has emerged from our conversation is that people do not fill out the census because of fear, because of unawareness, and because of apathy, not caring. So so there's the citizenship question, fear and issues of the undocumented immigrant population, and how they think that they would be deported if they fill it out, because we have ICE in the United States, and they do think that ICE will use the census information to track them down. There's also the question on, has the Trump administration approved the census? So that's one rumor that did spread. And then college students also do not think that they should be counted in the census. And also mentioning that the Japanese internment camps occurred, and how the US government tracked these people, the Japanese Americans, was through the census information. And fear about being deported, fear of losing people's benefits, and also misinformation. And then big thing, international students do not think that they need to be counted, because as they think, they would just go back to where they came from. When, in most cases, they do stay. And then there's also the affordable housing portion. It says here that the census affects funding for Section 8 housing, and what's a little bit confusing is that the American Community Survey was sent a month before the census forms are to be sent. The postcards are to be sent, so that just created confusion. And there's also the Republican survey, which solicits party information, which looks like this is the census form. Again, people are confused. And then talking to elders and to immigrant parents is a difficulty, because as immigrants do go to places where they bring with them their culture, their heritage, and if there's distrust in the government, back in the motherland, we bring it here. And ethnic media, and the rumor spreading and the ethnic media, it's much more resonant to elder immigrant populations.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I know a lot of you are facing with these same rumors and misinformation, and you are the ones who are addressing these issues because you know the right information. So when someone's saying, I don't want to do it because I'm afraid, I believe the administration is going to use the information against me, what do you say to them? What do you say to them? No, but what do you really say to them?
The 9 questions that they ask in the census has nothing to do with anything about personal life.
That's right, okay. The 9 questions
Just
that are
general
asked
questions.
has nothing to do about that? I'm afraid, because I heard earlier in the year and I heard last year that they're going to ask about citizenship. What do you tell folks?
No citizenship.
There's no question. And this is not about immigration, right? The US Census Bureau is a nonpartisan, apolitical bureau whose only purpose is to gather accurate data to generate statistics, which drives public policy, which drives funding and informs our policymakers, right? And in addition to that, it also helps local communities such as counties and cities be able to identify areas of need for emergency services. So can you imagine having to call 911 and having to wait on hold, or having the paramedics come out 2 minutes too late, right? So make it real for people. You don't need to say Title 13. Yes, Pastor.
I'm not a federal employee, so I can ask this question right now. What else can the U.S. Census do to assure or add some sort of reassurance to the people? It's no sort of mystery why in recent weeks there's an attack on sanctuary cities, sanctuary states, right? So for a certain federal task force rumored, right? So it's very, I mean, you have to think about the timing of things like this, right? In this period of time. And as we head into April 1st. So I think people need more of a reassurance from the United States Census. We can hold up the flag of Title 13, that's fine. And we can go to the community members. But what else does the United States Census guarantee? That is there a protection from the state? Is this federally sort of something that can be taken care of? Like, you're fine, trust me. Because now you're filling out forms online. As we all know, even online. All of these things can be traced back to where your servers are in your homes. There's cyber attacks that go on constantly, but this also adds to more of the sort of skepticism on behalf of mostly immigrant populations right now.
Well, what I can say is that many of us who work for the Census Bureau, actually all of us who are partnership specialists, we come from the community, first and foremost, right? And we know as Bureau employees that we've taken that oath, and there are strict penalties for that, for sharing personally identifiable information. It's 5 years in prison and or $250,000 fine. So we've taken that oath for life. Other assurances is just the facts. The fact is that we are not a part of immigration. So when people associate the raids with the census, I'm going to ask the question back to you. What do you say, Pastor?
Well, it's a responsibility that I don't take lightly, because obviously I base my trust off of your secrecy and your oath. You understand what I'm saying? So you have sworn an oath to the people of the United States. I have not sworn this oath, and so I have to sort of have confidence in you to go back to my community and say, trust the census. You understand what I'm saying? That's the burden that's on me as a partner. As that, that you have been sworn to the oath. I have not been sworn to the oath. And so the reassurance is when I'm like, especially in my community, a lot of overstayed populations that are here that are still trying to work on those papers right now. And I feel a certain way of saying, listen, you can trust the census, but I'm not sure. You know what I mean? Like as a pastor, that's my responsibility.